As Africa continues to embrace a digital transformation, sectors like e-commerce, fintech, and technology-driven industries are playing a pivotal role in shaping the future of work. Moses Kemibaro, founder and CEO of .Savvy, now joins CNBC Africa for more on this. Moses, thank you so much for joining us again on CNBC Africa, and a very happy New Year 2025 to you. So to kick off our conversation, in terms of the digital transformation and job creation, how do you see the role of e-commerce and fintech in creating sustainable jobs, particularly for the youth?
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I think when we talk about e-commerce, we've seen platforms like Jumia, which have created jobs in logistics, warehousing, and digital marketing, as well as customer service, platform management, and so forth. We also see a lot of SMEs are participating in this economy, and many of them are accessing much larger markets for their offerings, not just in the region, but globally. We also see a lot of opportunities in fintech, where, of course, the likes of M-Pesa have revolutionized financial inclusion and taken a lot of people who are generally unbanked and unserved and being a part of that economy. And this has opened up jobs in things like agency networks, mobile banking, software development, cybersecurity, and you can sort of see the layers of services that are made on top of these opportunities within the fintech space. Also, we see the governments and private sector are also collaborating. They're building propositions, they're creating those rails into those services, and ultimately being able to serve the market in a much more effective way, and at the same time, create the requisite jobs that are required.
And Moses, there is a growing concern about the mismatch that we have between the skills and also the education. Maybe how can we bridge this gap?
Yeah, this is something we see very much in the marketplace, where especially technology is sort of disrupting the status quo. And I think as we look at the digital economy, number one, I think we need to look at our curriculums. Are they compatible with the jobs of the future, the things that are currently relevant? And that means everything from coding to analytics to AI being brought into the education curriculum at a very young age. We see a lot of need for public and private sector partnerships, where companies already like Microsoft and Google offer different training programs locally and across the continent, and also seeing how governments can expand with these collaborations. And then I think also upskilling and reskilling, especially when you already have an established workforce, how can they start to utilize the current tools, the current methodologies and the processes, where you see companies and organizations like ALX providing boot camps and training capabilities to all these different workforces.
And we are seeing quite a rise in the gig economy, Moses, which is growing rapidly in Africa, especially in sectors such as delivery services and also digital content creation. So how do you see this trend evolving, and also what are some of the opportunities maybe for young entrepreneurs in the gig economy?
Yeah, absolutely. We can see the gig economy is becoming really fundamental, especially for young people in the continent, many of whom are unable to get formal employment, meaning that this gives them an outlet and an opportunity to use their skills and talent to earn an income. We see this across, for instance, the taxi hailing business, where likes of Uber and Bolt are providing that. Upwork and other similar platforms like Fiverr are providing a place where, people like web designers, developers, coders can actually earn a flexible income. And also going forward, you can see areas like, digital content creation, microtasking, and this is really important. But also at the same time, I think it's critical that we have social protection mechanisms. We have seen instances where people working in the gig economy have been taken advantage of, where they don't have things like healthcare, pensions, even fair pay. And then, of course, the importance of upskilling so that they are able to then work on many of these platforms. So I think for young entrepreneurs, especially those who are not able to get into formal employment or want to just simply earn an extra income to their current employment, it really gives them an opportunity to earn more money, to monetize their skill sets and build scalable businesses without having to invest a lot of money upfront.
And yes, I understand, Moses, you've been very vocal about the government and even the private or public-private players coming into play here. So in terms of the policies and investments, what do you think is most needed when it comes to ensuring an inclusive economic growth?
I think we need to be very open and very clear about having sort of parity around how these things work. We need to make sure that the government is also providing those enabling mechanisms, but also at the same time the protections to ensure that also local startups and local industry can participate within this digital economy. And I think when we're looking at this, obviously at this point in time, you can see, for instance, that AI is going to be a huge implication going forward, especially with the risk of jobs that could be lost, but also the opportunity to enable our workforces and also our young people with AI skills that allow them to be globally competitive in the future of work. So from my point of view, I think we really do see a need for government to play a role around establishing the right standards and giving parity to the space, but also making sure that we do have the enabling capabilities and policies that also attract the foreign organizations, but also allow our local businesses to be competitive.